tie the NLCS at 1 game apiece. And tomorrow night, the scene shifts to Philadelphia for pivotal Game 3. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, only on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Speaking of Philadelphia, despite the Eagles' undefeated record, what, Shady? Undefeated?
He's a bad man, undefeated.
Some folks in the football world aren't sold on Jalen Hurts. The Ringer's top quarterback list had Hurts as the 13th best quarterback in the league.
Wow.
Behind the likes of Kirk Cousins and Trevor Lawrence, and Shady one spot ahead of Geno Smith.
Wow. Is that real?
Yes.
That's not real.
Geno Smith's balling this year.
Hold up.
Is Jalen Hurts being disrespected?
Disrespect is not even the word. How they gonna have Dak Prescott number 7? The last time Dak played, he had 134 yards.
This is how we do on Speak.
No touchdowns in a pick. You know what? Who wrote this list? Jerry Jones? Jerry wrote this list. First of all, Kirk Cousins, he came to Philadelphia. Not only did Jalen Hurts play better than him, outdo him, outperform him, we put him in the dirt. Boom, we buried him, sent him home. That's their only loss. Who else on that list? Josh Allen. Okay, I get that. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Herbert, Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers. Listen, hold on, let me finish.
Shady.
Aaron Rodgers is obviously a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
But we talking about playing. He's playing like an MVP player right now, MVP quarterback. Are we serious? He's the only undefeated player or player on the whole list. Throw the whole list away. Throw the whole thing away. Yeah, serious?
I'm talking to the
Cousins.
I am talking to the guy who relies on the eye test.
The lead is set.
That's what Shady tells me.
Eye test, eyeball test.
Shady tells me every day, the eyeball test. Like, you watch it, and look, I have nothing against Jalen Hurts. I really don't. He's a hell of a player. And Joy, you make a wonderful point when we talk about this in the production meetings. Like, the ability to run is a good thing. Like, it does not mean that you're bad at football. It doesn't mean you're a bad quarterback. Lamar Jackson's the best running quarterback in the league. He's won an MVP doing it. There's nothing wrong with that. But when I think about quarterbacks, I think basically, like, if I'm trying to rank quarterbacks, how well do you play off of the script? That is what I'm thinking about. Like, when the defense has a great plan for you, when they take away your first read, or they neutralize your ability to keep the ball and run, all that type of stuff, what do you do? How well do you do it? That's what I think about. Jalen Hurts is playing great. I have seen nothing from the Eagles this year that leads me to believe that he can do that type of stuff better than any of these guys. I mean, obviously, we're not arguing Josh Allen, Mahomes. We're not arguing Lamar, Brady, Rodgers. Joe Burrow, we saw what he did improvising to get.
Joe Burrow.
We should.
He improvised that entire playoff. All right, that's really not the point. My point is, I need to see Jalen Hurts play better off script. To this point, nobody can stop the Eagles' running game.
He's part of that one. He's part of that.
But again, like, what happens when that gets taken away? I don't know the answer to it, and that's why I'm totally fine with this list.
Well, my man's hands is like this on the screen behind us, and it's a reason why, because what else does he have to show y'all? What else does he have to? I'm assuming this list is off of this year. That's why Trevor Lawrence is on that list, right?
Yeah, it wasn't last year.
That's why Kirk Cousins is on that list, right? Playing solid football. But this kid right here has his team 6-0. Right? And he is the biggest reason why. I know the defense is playing well, but he's the biggest reason why this team is 6-0. It's with his legs. Shady, can't nobody stop the Philadelphia Eagles offense. And it's all
Say it again. Say it again.
It's all about the guy under center.
Say it again.
This guy is putting his team on his back in every play. When you talk about throw the ball, you're talking about running the ball. This kid is doing it all right now. And I understand Josh Allen is up there, Patty Mahomes is up there. But if we're talking this season, he needs to be up there with them boys because he is playing MVP caliber football. And that is why his team is 6-0. Everybody is always coming out with something saying what else they need to see from Jalen Hurts. He's showing you every week what type of quarterback he is, and y'all still trying to find something.
He should be 3.
Crazy.
He should
definitely be in the top 10. I will put him under Aaron.
I'm fine. If y'all want to put him in the top 10, I'm not going to argue. I would take Jalen Hurts over Kirk Cousins right now, for sure. I absolutely would.
If we're talking about this year, which obviously, to James' point, we are talking about this year because we wouldn't have Trevor Lawrence ranked at 9 if we were talking about last year. Last year was a disaster in Jacksonville. We know that. So if we're talking about this year, I also agree he has to be at 3. Not only is he undefeated, to James's point, he is the reason why they are where they are. I'm not going to put him above Josh Allen, of course.
Right.
I'm not going to put him above Patrick Mahomes,
Nope.
of course. But we're not talking about talent. We're not talking about all-time legacy. We're not talking about resume. Obviously, you could make an argument for a lot of these guys who are ahead of him, except for Trevor Lawrence. I really think, that's a little crazy.
I think I think people are
Cousins-
blinded by where Trevor Lawrence was drafted. Maybe not blinded, but like people are giving him the benefit.
about this year.
I really want to revisit what James said, because that's really the point that I've been saying about Jalen Hurts even before this year. I don't like that we keep moving the goalpost on young quarterbacks that are mobile. Every year at the draft, you got to find a dual-threat quarterback. You can't have a guy that just sits in the pocket like a statue. Those days are over. And then you get a guy that can run, and it's like, well, I don't know. Can he stay in the pocket? Right. I don't know if he can deliver it. He's got to stay there and take those hits, wait for the rush and deliver it, and then take the hit. Like, what do you want? Jalen Hurts is not a guy who's just bailing on the pocket. That I understand. That I can't stand. If you're a young quarterback and your first instinct is to run, that is a little worrisome. You do have to learn how to be able to stay in the pocket and deliver the ball, because you're not going to be able to run every single time. To your point, you're going to run into defenses that make it difficult. I can't think of a defense that could make it more difficult than the Dallas Cowboys, and I just watched him do it.
Right.
So it's not that I think we're getting into contract conversations or, does he need to win a Super Bowl? We all know what the standards are for quarterbacks in this league. I just don't understand what else Jalen has to do, because he is throwing the ball well also. It's not that he's just running. He's in 5th in passer rating, 8th in passing yards. His accuracy has gone up tremendously this year. Like,
And he can run. And he can
run the ball.
You do not put a guy in MVP conversation and then say he's not in the top 10 when you talk about quarterbacks this season, right? This is totally disrespect to Jalen Hurts, and what he has accomplished and what he's doing over there in Philly is disrespectful.
See, I disagree. Respectfully, of course.
Oh, he's a Cowboy guy. So
I think the world of Jalen Hurts. I've been following his career since he was at Alabama.
So for me, I think you're talking.
Don't sound like that at all.
You off, but I think you're talking more of it like, if I'm a receiver, do I want to? And that's
not only that. All right. So here,
when we're talking about winning, and playing at a high level.
Absolutely, he is playing at a wonderful level. The Eagles are undefeated. They deserve that respect. He is a huge part of it. When I'm talking about ranking the quarterbacks, this is where I come from as a writer who's never played the position. By the way,
I never was a writer, so. Same thing.
To be at the top of one of these lists, you have to be scheme proof. You have, regardless, I'll plug you into 32 rosters and you will play well. You can make every throw. You can do what you need to do. You can.
That's Kirk Cousins and Trevor Lawrence?
No. And that's why I said I'd put him over Kirk Cousins. I think that's the rest of these guys, though. I think the rest of the guys that are above Jalen Hurts on the list we're looking at you're talking about scheme-proof quarterbacks, the guy where it's like you don't need to be dialing it up perfectly. You don't need to have everything laid out, make the reads as easy as possible. That's why we're not arguing whether he deserves it. Notice, the Eagles are 6-0.
Yeah.
We're like, well, yeah, he's not better than Pat or Josh. Nobody's saying that.
If I'm a defensive coordinator, I would rather prepare for Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, before I got to prepare for Jalen Hurts. That is what he's presenting right now. What coverage are we going to get into because he could tote it? What coverage are we going to get into because he can throw the ball as well, right? And he's showing that, and that is why the Eagles are 6-0 right now, and that is why their offense cannot be stopped. That screams top 10.
I mean, and I get what you're saying, Dave. I truly do. But I feel like all these quarterbacks, they have like schemes, right? Like the only two quarterbacks that I see that plays without the scheme is Patrick Mahomes. He goes off script a lot, right? And then Josh Allen.
Lamar get off.
No. Lamar is in a scheme. I play for Greg Roman. He needs them type of quarterbacks, right? Yeah. In that scheme. I think they're holding Lamar back a little bit because Lamar can throw the ball. But that type of scheme as run base, they're the only guys that still use fullbacks and big blocking tight ends. So most of the guys you're talking about, those are guys that are in scheme.
Yeah.
My thing with Jalen Hurts is like, who cares about that? Listen, he didn't ask to come to Philadelphia. We asked him to come there. So we bring him here, and he's executing the offense the way they want it done. He's balling.
And that's
and last point, because I'm not trying to come at you. I'm coming at the world, whoever make this list. When you put this list together and you're talking about all these quarterbacks, why shouldn't he be in that top 3? He is executing that same offense the same way Josh Allen is for his Bills, and the same way Andy Reid has Patrick Mahomes. They're doing the same thing. Nobody can come out of office and be as efficient as he is in that offense.
Because look how long it took for Lamar Jackson to really get talked about the way that Lamar. It took forever. I mean, they said he was going to be a receiver.
Yeah.
He couldn't play the quarterback.
That was always crazy.
It's always been that. Yeah, it was crazy, but It's
But people
always
said it,
been
yeah.
that narrative around Lamar Jackson. It took him winning an MVP for people to be like, all right, I guess he could play quarterback. And now we're still talking about his contract as if he doesn't deserve a big contract. There's people who still are unsure if he's capable of doing that. I think it's a specific thing with quarterbacks who run the ball really well that we immediately try to figure out a way to
Hate.
I don't know if it's hate. It's just like, it's confusing to me because it's something that everyone wants and praises with certain quarterbacks. But then when they're a true dual threat, it's all of a sudden something that's scary. Obviously, this isn't something that you want them to do for their entire career, and it's the only thing. But I think Lamar Jackson has proven that. You can be an absolutely dynamic runner and also be able to throw the ball.
That's right. That's right.
But that is why it's disrespectful to Jalen Hurts, because last year, all they said was, we got to see it this year. We want to see what he looked like in the offense this year. You know what I mean? Should they draft a guy? All them talks was happening out there, right? And then he comes out this year and he's 6-0, playing at an MVP level. And now they're doing these lists and he still got to show y'all more. Disrespectful.
Well, coming up, the Cardinals are finally getting DeAndre Hopkins back tonight.
Okay, D-Hop.
We'll tell you if D-Hop can pop the Cardinals back in the
From
top
New
of the
York,
NFC
it's a
again. That's next on Speak.
Hey,